Yo, what's up YouTube? 30Dan Gaming coming back with a Rise of Kingdoms video today. And we are going to continue our commander overview series. We're kind of crushing through these pretty nicely. We've just about finished all of the KVK Season 2 commanders, all of besides Wu Zetian. However, I'm going to skip over her just so I can start getting into some of the more progressive commanders, because Wu is one of those commanders where she takes a lot of commitment, and I think just from that standpoint alone, it's pretty easy to tell on whether she's a worthy investment for Season of Conquest. So we are going to move past Wu, and we are going to now talk about some of the KVK 3 commanders that you will be encountering in your kingdoms. So let's check out our next guy, and spoiler, he is from the Mightiest Governor, so let's check him out. All right, so here we are. We have our man Attila, the Scourge of God. Attila is going to be a cavalry conquering and attack commander, and he's got some really cool things that kind of work for him. He's just a really good commander all around, I think, in my opinion. However, there is a little bit of some stipulations on whether or not you should be really investing into this commander. So as always, we are going to give that ultimate determination towards the end of the video. We're going to go over his skills quickly, and just some things that we like about them, and then some things that we don't. So let's check out his skills. First skill is going to be King of the Huns. Rage requirement 1000. For the next 4 seconds, the normal attacks and counterattacks of troops led by this commander deal 30% increased damage, and normal attacks have a 50% chance to reduce the target's attack by 50% for 2 seconds, can trigger once every 2 seconds. So you're getting your attack and counter attack damage bonuses up to 30%, with a chance to reduce the enemy attack by 50%. And I'm pretty sure that these two are kind of multiplicative with each other, because when you're calculating your counter attack damage, your calculated attack damage is already part of that equation, which is why it makes swarming Attila such a bad idea. Most of his anti-swarm is going to come from 1 or 2 skills. It's really not, he really doesn't have all that much anti-swarm besides this skill. Moving on, the Siege of Constantinople. When attacking strongholds or cities, troops led by this commander deal 5% increased damage and have a 10% chance each turn to reduce enemy garrison troops defense by 25% for 3 seconds. Very solid skill. Anytime you're getting additional damage bonuses, y'all know me, I will chase those endlessly. And anytime you're getting a defense or health reduction is always very nice too. If you say had him as a primary rally, say like a tanking rally, then you had like an XY Chandra follow up, this skill would actually stack with XY's primary skill, which gives you 25%. So there's a chance with those two attacking a stronghold or a city that you are going to have a chance to debuff that city by up to 50%, which is very nice. Depending on the seconds, who knows, but there is that possibility to stack. Next skill, troops led by this commander take 15% less skill damage and deal 30% reduced skill damage. At the same time, cavalry units gain 15% increased march speed and 40% increased attack. So this 40% increased attack is going to again be helping that aspect of his anti-swarm, because your attack calculates into your counter-attack damage. So more things here that's helping his anti-swarm, as well as his the skill damage reduction that he is going to be taking. Very similar to what Saladin offers, and anytime you can get skill damage reduction within a commander is always something that is highly coveted. The downside of this skill is that he deals 30% reduced skill damage. So when XY first came out, people were trying the combo of XY Attila. However, I think if you're just more or less banking on a rage engine build with XY first to kind of get this skill cranking a little bit more, because one of the things that Attila really needs is he needs a rage engine, because this skill is so good. And then when you pair him with his, you know, his cohort counterpart Takeda, and that'll probably be the next video to kind of group these together a little bit, because hint hint, they kind of need to be together. So yeah, there was people who were trying the XY Attila combo and it just wasn't working. The 30% reduced skill damage really hinders you, and I think for good reason too, because if this wasn't a thing and you were able to have full damage skill marches such as XY, such as like a Genghis Khan even, for example, you know, paired with the amount of damage that he's just boosting up, or you know, just straight up, is a little OP. So I think that that was a nice way for Lilith to kind of counteract that. Next skill, Battle of the Catalonian Plains. So I believe this one too, in my opinion, also has to do with his anti-swarm. When troops led by this commander consist of only cavalry, their normal attacks have a chance to increase all damage dealt for 2 turns. Has a 25% chance to increase by 50% and a 25% chance to increase by 100%. So that all damage means that it's going to stack. This is a passive skill. So when this procs and your active skill procs, these are going to stack together. So your normal attack damage is going to be calculated, your counter attack damage is going to be calculated, and then you're going to be getting an all damage bonus from that. So you can see why it is very much so advised against to not swarm Attilas. Even in Season of Conquest gameplay where we are right now, and we have a little bit of better commanders that you can use to swarm, even with putting my tankiest marches together, swarming Attilas still hurts and it still gives you a pretty big hospital bill. Last skill, Expertise. Troops led by Attila, or by this commander, are immune to all silence effects. When an enemy has less than 50% of units remaining, normal attacks against it deal 20% increased damage. After leaving battle, march speed is increased by 50% for 3 seconds. So there's a little bit of a lot going on here. So first off, he becomes immune to all silence effects. This means that he is the straight up counter to Guan Yu's and Herman's, the only 2 silencing commanders that we have. It is not, he will still be affected by disables and disarms such as El Cid and Artemisia, but against Guan's and against Herman's silencing effects does not affect him at all. Next, when an enemy is less than 50% of troops or units remaining, normal attacks deal. So this is really a really nice, especially in like ruins. Like when I got this dude for KVK 3 and we were running around ruins and I would see like a Minamoto, I would see a Genghis Khan, less than 50%. I did not even care if I was going to get swarmed, because I knew that the amount of pain and infliction I was putting onto that march was so worth the trade that I was getting back. And again, even in the open field, Attila is pretty tanky and he does dish out a good amount of counterattack damage, so you will see a lot of trades kind of in your favor, even if you are in a swarm situation and you're trying to get away, which this last portion of his expertise helped with, very much like the Belisarius skill. Once you leave battle, so if you click like to go home on the icon of your troop, as soon as you see the battle report pop away is when you will see both Attila and Belisarius get that speed boost, because once you see that report, it officially means that you have now exited battle. So this is a very nice skill. This is what kind of leads me to say that Attila needs to be expertised, because I just don't think that you're going to get enough utility out of him for an open field, and you really shouldn't be rallying with non-expertise commanders, in my opinion. So I do think that because this skill is just so good, that you really do want to expertise Attila. You don't want to leave him as a project or as like a minimum investment type of commander. He just isn't that. So you definitely want to go ahead and expertise this commander. Now, in terms of our kind of evaluation and suggestion on whether or not you should max or invest in this commander, looking ahead to Season of Conquest gameplay, I would say if you are a mid-spender cav main, then I would give you the 2 thumbs up, just because mid-spenders will tend to have somewhat decent gear. Like, I'm a low to mid-spender, and in just the 5 KVKs I've able to put together an entire full set with Season of Conquest accessories. So going ahead and expertising a commander like Attila, if you have somewhat decent gear, I think is beneficial, because you're going to be able to rally with him, and then again, in the open field, ruin fights, anytime, you know, maybe you're on a losing end or the winning end of a KVK and you just have these little boring pass fights. I mean, Attila is awesome for that. Our KVK 4, we had a good amount of those pass fights, and I'm not one to pass fight all too much, but I was just throwing the Attila out there, just getting a little bit of swarm, then pulling them back, because I was just noticing that the trades were so good. So I said, why not? You know, free kills. If you are a low spending cav main, I would say I think there's better options for you, because part of the reason I say that is because Attila isn't a versatile commander. He needs to be with Takeda. He does not work really well with other commanders. I've tried. I would say the best commander that he probably works with is William, but William's just so good in so many other rights, and like in terms of his skill damage, that you just don't want to put a William with Attila. I've tried him with Khan, I've tried him with XY, I've tried Attila with everyone, and just haven't been able to find the pairing of commanders that makes him at least serviceable, you know, just okay enough to be on the field. And I just didn't really see the trades that I wanted. So in my honest opinion, he needs to be with Takeda. If you are a low spending cav main, you have other options to look forward to, such as Shang Yu, William, Saladin, Takeda, because Takeda is pretty versatile. You can put him with, you know, with other commanders. I'm actually thinking about switching my XY pairing, which I have XY William right now, and going XY Takeda just for that little bit of extra oomph. But then again, I'm stuck with this conundrum of who then am I using with my Attila? So I mean, there's definitely probably some other playful things that you can, I mean, I even thought about doing this, Attila Charles, just because you're getting the passive counterattack damage plus his, which will stack. So I was like, maybe this will work. I haven't tried it yet though, but you know, just trying to think outside the box a little bit with these things. I feel like there's a lot of times where we get so structured from the YouTube videos that we kind of lose that aspect of theory crafting and trying different things and seeing what works, because you never know, maybe you stumble onto the next new not meta, but next new combo that kind of works. One example of my last KVK, we were taking some city rallies against Attila Takedas, and I don't really have a proper city garrison besides Charles YSG, and any seasoned player will tell you that Charles YSG is no bueno against an Attila Takeda. So I switched it up. I went with an XY that was 5515 and an expertise YSG, and I chewed the rally up because there was just so much damage coming out. I was doing like six-figure skill damage every burst. It was beautiful. So, you know, you need to have those opportunities to kind of think outside the box and test things, but Attila is just one of those commanders where they don't really work. So mid-spending cav player, I would say 2 thumbs up. Low spending cav player, I would say maybe 1 thumb up if you really wanted to just have a pretty dope rally combination for your cavalry marches. If you're not a cavalry player, if you're not a cavalry player and a very high spender, I would advise to stick to other commanders that are within your troop types. The high players, they can just kind of spend on, you know, get whatever commanders. But if you're like a mid-level spender of another troop type, I would say focus on your commanders like Alex and Leo and, you know, Artemisia, Edward, for your specific troop type. So he's really good, but you just have to be ready for the investment because it's a heavy one, and you have to be ready to max another commander to pair with him that is pretty much going to stick side by side with him at all times. So I hope this video helped. I tried to keep it a little short, but again, I went a little bit long. But as always, thank y'all so much for the support. If you guys enjoyed the video, please consider slapping a like on it and subscribing down below. All of it's totally free and helps the channel out a lot. And stay tuned. I believe 3 days from now we have the past sevens opening up, and the Kingsland will be opening another 2 or 3 days after that. So we're gonna have some sick battles coming up for our KVK. I know the altar fights have been a little bit lacking, but we're all here for the blood and the gore and the dead troops and the rally reports, aren't we? So stay tuned, guys. In a few days we are going to have exactly that. And with that, I'm gonna peace out. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and as always, much love. Love y'all. Thank you for the support. I'm out. Peace.